Hello, and welcome to Unexplained Possibilities Podcast. I'm your host, Melvin the Crimson Taurus, and unfortunately, Neima can't be here with us tonight, and that's okay because this is kind of a last-minute put-together show, and I'm very, very thankful that I have someone who is willing to come on, take time out of her busy day, and you all know who that is if you can read the title, and if you can't read, well, I'm gonna tell you. Joining me tonight is that ever so lovely Texas witch, Bonnie Woodruff.
Hey everybody, hope you're doing good tonight.
So, Bonnie, last time you were on with Brooke, and that was a fun talk.
That was fun.
What have you been up to since then?
Oh, lots of things, like just just spell work, family work, work, all the above. Mentoring. I'm actually mentoring a little now, so
Wait,
that
what?
as well. I've got somebody I'm mentoring, and it's going well. Gifts that I don't think they were quite aware that they were able to tap into. So it's always fun to help a person learn their capabilities. All it takes sometimes is just, you might 100 times a day have like things that you consider a coincidence or whatnot, and until somebody points that out, it's like, that might be a little more than a coincidence. I mean, come on, that's give yourself a pat on the back, So I think it helps somebody when they realize that it's not just in their head, because yes, it can be something. There's some people that very much there are things that go on in their head that are just not happening. So yeah.
Okay, so that's really cool. Congrats on that. And out of curiosity, is your mentorship open to any and everyone, or are you selective?
Yes. Well, it is open to anyone that's, willing to, because it is something that, like, right now it's once a week for an hour, usually video chat type thing. And really kind of what we'll do is like, I like to hit over everything, but if there is something in particular they're wanting to work on or that they feel drawn to, we'll definitely kind of dig into that.
Okay, so let's say you're going to mentor me. What do you think, in your professional opinion, this is opening a can of worms.
Oh, you really want me to answer?
We're going there. What do you think, or what would you suggest I work on? What do you think my ability is?
Your ability, okay. Well, to get to your ability first is we have to, your stubbornness would have to kind of you'd have to work on that to get to the ability. But I feel like you are, like I've started from the beginning. I've helped you learn to row, and I feel like that has definitely been a gift. But I feel like that, you can delve on from different forms of divination from there. I don't think it would be limited to row.
Okay.
I feel like, I feel like maybe even like finding if one of your, they call them clairs, like your different types of clairvoyance, whether it be if you can, what is it called? Psychometry, which is looking at a picture and picking up the vibes off of a person and whatnot. So different things like that. That's kind of where I would push you to, but you would be so stubborn. I don't think you'd even want to hear it. So that's why I'm saying you have to break down the layers of the onion first.
I'll say this. I am decent at, when I hear people, I'm usually decent at reading them. But I think I've told you that before. So that's the one thing I will say. I'm good when I hear a voice.
That's pretty nice.
So, but
yeah, that's like that would be almost. I would like clairaudience would be like hearing, like you could hear spirit and not, but it would be a form of that too. So it'd be digging deeper into that. Like, okay, if I can hear this out of a person's voice, like maybe I can listen more and tune myself in more with the spirit world and such. So yeah.
Okay, and you guys, I'm gonna share some stuff with you. Bonnie doesn't know I'm gonna share it, but I am. I actually have video footage of this too, which I have not posted. I probably won't post it, but she is like amazingly gifted. That's not me talking out of my butt or trying to kiss her butt. Like, I've seen this firsthand, and I've said this a few times with a couple of people, but Bonnie is one of the few, if you want to say psychic, medium, whatever, gifted folks that I know that is legit. Um, and was it last month? I think it was last month. I decided for whatever reason to open up more because it's something that was bugging me with one of my guides, and things going from there. But I saw this happen where Bonnie just started to get messages and communicate, and she got thumbed. Um, it was the craziest thing, and man, let me tell you guys, if you're a non-believer, that's okay, but man, there is stuff out there, and Bonnie experiences it and she communicates with it like she's legit. So just
Thank you.
and yeah,
Thank
so
you.
but one day I might release that footage with your permission, of course, and get a laugh.
I'm not scared. Go ahead. I like people knowing and being able to actually kind of see that there is something a little more out there. Especially when somebody's experiencing it and they don't quite understand it, they really need to make sure they're getting the right information because you can look online all day and you're going to get a couple, like a handful, that are legit and they're actually truly in tune, and then you're going to get some that are out there just for the views and clickbait and such. So, I would prefer them go into the right. Yeah, I've seen it unfortunately too often.
Now, this is gonna lead us to this. Actually, you know what? It's gonna branch off into quite a few things. But you
Hmm.
being someone who is in the field, you not only investigate, you take cases where people feel they might be haunted with something or energies off. How do you personally feel when you see other people who are claiming to be real, maybe they even think they're real, and they're causing more harm than good?
Well, a lot of times my first react would be to like kind of call them out, but a lot I've noticed more and more these people will just delete your comments because that's not going to be something that they want anybody else to. They don't want to be called out, especially if you hit them with a question that's actually like forces them to draws attention. Let's say that. They'll they'll just delete it. And a lot, like I've noticed a lot of people that the ones that are not as real, their first reaction is to delete. Let's not bring any attention to that. I might be not the real deal. And always watch for a person that's going to tell you over and over again, I am this and I am that and I'm always right and I never, very rare am I ever wrong. Because a person that is truly legit, they're going to have off days. Some of the people that I've looked up to, they'll have off days. They'll have days that they, like one of my favorite tarot readers is like, there's sometimes that with a certain person they try to read for, they'll have to send them to somebody else. It's like, for some reason, my energy cannot, it's not, I wouldn't say vibe with the other person, but they just can't get something from this client, and they'll send them off. But that's a true reader, a person that's being honest with you. So yeah, just definitely if they say that if they have to repeat how all of their gifts every 5 minutes, then pay attention, because it's almost like subliminal messages. They're implanting that in your head.
Okay, guys, remember that and try not to choke on any hot dogs. Um,
Mm, mm.
inside joke. Um, so, what do you do to combat people like that, though?
um,
Or can you even
Unfortunately,
combat them?
there's not um like I think, and this is something that I myself probably need to do, is like you need to the only thing you can do to combat it is actually put out information or put out source or material that is real and that people that are looking for answers can learn from it. So like it'd be a balance thing if you want to look at it. So for all the fakers out there, you have to, the ones that are real need to step up and up their game, and you know, whatever your gifts are, you really need to put yourself out there, even when it's not, you know, not, maybe you're not comfortable, or you're a little bit nervous, or you're like, oh, what are people going to think? Well, yeah, you have, if you're wanting to fix the, you know, the imbalance that's there, you definitely need to step up. And I need to do that myself. So I'll pat myself, slap myself on the hand. How about that?
Okay, well, you know, I also say that sometimes it's just not worth it because sometimes it isn't to me. But yeah, if you can say something, then yes, you do want to say something.
Right.
And speaking of misinformation and just getting things backwards, recently on YouTube, on the paranormal channels, there's been a lot of stuff popping up about King Payman. Am I going crazy, or are you hearing this?
Yes.
Wait, no. Wait, quiet, real quick.
What?
Okay, I could have sworn I heard a woman, and I don't know. Anyway, yeah, there's just a lot of information going about with King Payman, and it's popping up everywhere. And I know you saw a video that was just, it was very, very off, and I believe one of your colleagues even made something in response to it.
Right. Because, like, okay, when I was discussing with her, it was like, okay, you definitely don't want to give this person that is giving misinformation of King Payman out there, you don't want to give that person more views. You don't want to feed, I will say her tons of misinformation she gives. You don't want to draw new people that are just curious to watch, because first of all, she might have a topic that is very, you know, grabs them and draws them, and then of course then you got this person that absolutely really does not have any I don't like to say it this way, but it's okay. She's doing it for the views. She's doing it to, I guess, for her own popularity or notoriety. Kind of if you know, in a way, it just feels very narcissistic. That would be the best way to describe it. But so yeah, like I remember the topic was like well, I can't remember exactly how she put it, but in there she started talking about King Payman, and that how he took advantage of her in the astral realm. Like, I mean, I don't want to say rape, but basically it's kind of like her little innuendo was, and I was just like, what? Like, okay, this is the biggest crock I've yet to hear from her. Of course, then she'll post something the next week that even tops off the net, you know, that one. But okay, first of all, a King Payman, any king for that matter. Like, I wouldn't say that all kings would be very. Not all kings are probably without fault.
Well, Bonnie, before that, who is King Payman?
He's one of the gatekeepers, I guess you could call him. He's like one of the kings of hell, and he can bring forth knowledge. Now when you have respect for him, like with anything in, I mean, I guess you'd say, and depending, like if on this realm or any other realm, if you have a little bit of respect towards something, it's going to it'll be more respectful to you. Now, if you go in there like you're fixing to try to banish it, or try to withhold it in a circle or this or that, okay, then you're kind of giving off the vibes of well, it's like if you were to corner a dog. You know, they're going to be like on their edge too and ready to attack. If you did it to me, I'd probably be ready to attack somebody. So same thing. But he can give you all kinds of knowledge and things that you seek like that. And he would be one of the demons that you can go to if you're wanting to deepen different types of gifts in, whether it becomes to magical gifts or just, everyday knowledge, expanding your mind. But for King Payman to sexually have to in the first place sexually molest or whatever a human, it's just, first of all, it's silly. And the more I've watched her things, her videos, and almost every one, she's being sexually abused or molested, or they're falling in love with her on the astral. I mean, and this doesn't just stick with Paimon, but like I think she's had a relationship with Elvis on the astral. I mean, so what surprises me is when you look in the comments, nobody is just like, hello, can y'all not see that this poor female is mentally ill? Don't listen. I mean, this is like putting a person that has severe mental illness on a pedestal. And actually, I mean, I guess you wouldn't want to learn something from Ted Bundy, right? You wouldn't want to learn spirituality from him. I'm not calling her to that level, but there is some narcissism in there. There is some things, there's red flags that you really have to pay attention to when it comes to watching these people online and actually making what they say valid.
Okay, well, we'll get to that portion a little bit later, but back to King Payman.
He is King Payman as long, and I would say he can be, I wouldn't call him kind of a trickster. I mean, you just definitely, I would say be very respectful. Knock on wood, I've not had any negative things happen when working through him. But I know that somebody else that I've worked with has seen the uglier version, and King Payman actually showed up in his house and like scared him. And I'm not going to say names, but yeah, like showed the way he described it. It was almost like if you've ever seen the movie 13 Ghosts, the something prince. I can't remember what the prince is, what they called that spirit, the something prince, the tattered, was it the torn prince? There was a spirit. Yeah, there was a spirit on there. And the way this person described it is he looked that way. But I think, being in the paranormal, they kind of went more at it like in a, what are you doing here type way. Well, he'll show you what I'm doing here. So it's kind of one of those things. Just be very careful, especially depending on which of the, of the kings or even the other demons in the grimoires, that be careful how you kind of come at them. I mean, because a lot of times, especially if you're working with them, they'll do what you ask if you're open to it and you truly are trying to connect with them. I mean, when I worked with Azazel, I kind of knew when you work with Azazel, usually he's like, you're kind of, what will happen is he's wanting to level you up. He's wanting to get you to where you're supposed to be. And I knew it was time. I could feel it. And I knew it was time to work with him. But a part of me was not wanting to, because I knew that something was going to be taken away that was causing me to not put more work where I needed to be doing. That was kind of basically holding me back. And at the time, I knew it was my relationship. And I'm like, man, I just got this. Like, I kind of like, this is not, I'm not sure if I'm ready to give this up. And it happened. He, like, if I wasn't going to do it myself, he definitely open the doors to make sure it did get removed from my life. And honestly, now I'm very grateful for it, because it wasn't fun the way it went about, but it definitely was for my best. And I see that now, and I'm very grateful for that. So when you're working with these, whether it be King, Pamela, or whatever, just if you're going through them, go through them with respect and realize that they're the movies, Hollywood has to make a, what is it? Antagonist, right?
Antagonist, yeah. If there's
yeah, you have to have the bad guy. And so we're going to put these things that, whether it be the Bible or whatnot, has made them look very scary and intimidating. So we're going to use those because that's your classic bad guy, right? I mean, it's kind of like, it's almost like in real life. When we were watching the movie the other day, I'm like, gosh, this poor guy's really creepy. The guy they had as the grandpa, if you've seen Dr. Sleep, he actually played Lurch. So he's always playing this scary, creepy character. So, but you know what? I bet you $100 in real life he's a nice person. We don't know just by judging on looks alone.
Okay, so I have to say something real quick. I just noticed on the streaming page that I'm looking at that has all these little numbers and whatnot, the chat isn't working, and so I decided to go to what everyone else sees, and yeah, there are people here. They're saying hi, and I am so sorry that I'm just now seeing
You're ignoring them?
Yeah, so hello, hello, Leash, Benny, Angie, Jessica, and Jenny.
Hey, everybody.
So, yes, terribly sorry about that. YouTube's being drunk. That's the best I can tell you.
Oh, well, it's better them than me.
So,
I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm not.
So, okay. So, with King Pie... Oh, God. King Payman...
Hold on. Whoa.
Uh-oh.
What is that?
What, an ice cream truck?
That? Is that your ice cream truck? Oh, my God. Okay. I can hear it.
Yes.
I'm hearing this woo, 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 woo. It sounded like almost like an old operator, like when you get the wrong number or a number that's been disconnected. Okay.
It's an ice cream truck.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just...
You've had he's... Okay, I've heard about this guy, and yeah, I can see how he drives you.
We're in a pandemic, and somehow he's still rolling along. This freaking guy. Anyway.
I guess as long as he's wearing his mask, let him...
He isn't.
Oh, of course. That is everybody in my town lately, and it's... I mean, I'm all about rebel. I am, but it's like, okay, the sooner that we just kind of like get where we're not all making each other sick, it's going to be a lot better, folks. But I guess somebody's telling us what to do, and we're just, and I get it, but it's like, there's certain, I don't know. There's other things that you can be rebellious about, I guess, is what I feel.
I totally understand.
I also, though, I mean, like I'll say, I've got several, like my dad, my son is, he has asthma. I have people in my family that are a little more compromised. So it's like, okay, I definitely don't want some dum-dum like passing the plague to me, but that's why I do wear my mask. And I don't think I went out Friday. I went to the store, just ran in and out back real quick. Literally was in there for less than 5 minutes. And everybody, because it was a convenience store, it was pretty busy. And not one had their mask on. Not one. It was just kind of irritating.
It is what it is.
I looked like I was the one that was a weirdo because I had mine on. I'm like, still.
Well, at least you weren't running around with some daggers or something wearing a mask. So.
Well, that wasn't. No, I'm just kidding. No daggers.
Okay, so with King Payman and perhaps demonic energies, entities in general, and I've said this before, it's a respect thing that they want, and unfortunately we have made them the big bad. Part of it has to do with the spread of, I would say, Christianity, in my opinion. and another part has to deal with our own fear and ignorance. And like you said earlier, we every story needs a big bad. Every story
Hmm.
has an antagonist.
Hmm.
But
Yes.
so King Payment that you know of, he does not rape people. Um,
No, he wouldn't have to. I mean,
he
mm-mm.
he if you're disrespectful, then he will be disrespectful.
Oh yeah,
And I won't even say he's being disrespectful. He's like, okay, you want a monster? Here's the monster.
right, right.
Um,
He'll match it. He'll match the energy, I guess, is the way to put it.
and
Yeah.
it seems like, unfortunately, the because wasn't he was in a movie, wasn't he? What movie was that?
Oh yeah. That is, and and it was funny is like the sigil was all wrong in the movie, but it was on the movie Hereditary, and
Hereditary.
it really, and it didn't. It was not a good adaptation, I guess you'd say, or whatever. It just they made it look like somebody like we're going to murder and everything so that we can get this body that we need so that we can have him rise again.
Okay.
Whatever. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's where a lot of the ignorance comes from as well, more so in the modern age anyway, because I can guarantee you before that movie, I'm sure quite a few people had no idea who King Payment is, myself
Hmm.
included. I mean, I heard the name, but from an
Well, it's like Valak with the con. Was it not? Well, which was it? Conjuring this or that? Oh, it was. I know that the when it comes to the Ed and Lorraine, it was like one of their the roll offs of that the Conjuring or whatever. But then they brought Valak in. Who he's also one of the demons in the keys, lesser keys, and so yeah, we're gonna they made him look or her, they made him look like a nun, which was just I'm like, this is not even close. But okay, yeah. So yeah, Hollywood's going to really I don't want to say corrupt it, but they're doing what Hollywood does. They're just basically trying to make a buck, and they're going to use these what people are afraid of, and unfortunately, people a lot of times are afraid of what these are allegedly supposed to do. They're supposed to confuse you. They're supposed to, um, I like that's one of the funniest things when anybody wants to that when they've asked me, oh, well, if I come, go to this demon, will they ask for me to, sell my soul? And I kind of like, I try not to Google because it's a fair question, especially if you've been raised in a Christian environment your whole life. That's what you've been planted to believe is all this time. So yeah, you're thinking, oh, I have to sell my soul to, if quote unquote make a deal. And it's not making a deal. Like I've had times where it was like literally with Belial, hey, like when somebody asks, how did you get yourself out of this predicament? Because he really will help with things like if you're going to court and you're needing a little bit of more of a help from, somewhere that, that maybe just your lawyer team might not be able to make it happen. Belial would be one that's good to go to. And so no, you don't have to sell your soul to Belial or any of them per se. It's like, you might want to honor them by saying, hey man, it was like, believe it or not, a demon helped me with this. They might want a little bit of acknowledgement. But I mean, that would be any of us. Or, I mean, a lot of people like we appreciate being acknowledged for the things that we do. And when we help somebody, acknowledgement um, it's a nice thing to give somebody, especially if they've helped you out.
yeah, I agree with that. Let's
Why
go.
not? I mean, what hurts?
Let's go to a different, well, not really demon, but in some stories, the creator of demons, the fallen angel himself, Lucifer.
Okay.
Now, Bonnie, is Lucifer real?
Well, Lucifer's real, so is Satan, and also you have Leviathan, which are all aspects of what I guess, like if you want to look at it on a Christian aspect, they're all different aspects of the devil. Um, so yeah, there's different parts of them. There's some, okay, so if you want to okay, so Lucifer I can't remember offhand, but there's like different directions. And Leviathan is the water, the emotional aspect. So if you want to look at it in terms of different, your elements, right? If you look at elemental factors. And so Leviathan would be your water. He is the king of the water, the water aspect. But like Satan has his own aspect, as well as Lucifer and Satan as well.
Okay. And with Lucifer, okay, so would it be correct to say he's a fallen angel, or is he something else entirely?
Biblically standing, I guess, yes.
Okay, and what is his role? Like, does he show up and seduce people and, get his freak on, which sometimes it appears that sometimes people make him out to be like that. Is he all evil? What is his deal?
Okay. You can look at him as if you want to say like a human aspect, he's a person that's going to stand out there and let you know what's wrong with your social justice warrior type person. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this is not okay. Like, you have your own power. Why didn't you embrace your own strengths? Why not save yourself? If you have the power within you to save yourself or to pull you out of a situation, and then once you do that and then feel how wonderful that feels to do so, then that's kind of how I look at Lucifer. Like, he can help you to learn your own strengths and such. Like Leviathan would be how to take your a person that has my goodness. Now, do you have a clown? Is that a clown?
No, it's someone selling
Are you sure
corn,
it sounds like Pogo the clown? You have Pogo the clown.
It's corn. I don't know. They put spices on it or something. I've never had it, but
I've never heard them honk. We have those not around here, but like San Antonio and stuff. But they don't honk at you that I've ever remembered.
Well, he's honking.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
That is great. That is quite hilarious. So no, like, okay, so if like a person that's an empath, right? A lot of times they can almost feel overwhelmed and almost out of sorts, and like they just are picking up everything negative. But Leviathan, if you call up on Leviathan, they can help you. He can help you with taking that empathy and using it to protect yourself, right? So these things about you that are different, each of the different aspects of the devil, I guess you say, would help you strengthen yourself in one way or another. So they actually all have different things about them that they can help you become a better person in general, to where you are not reliant on, okay, this is I was raised in a Christian home, hardcore. It was almost Methodist, like I've said before. It's very close to Catholicism, and where you are to go and pray to God to help you through every one of these issues in life. These different aspects will help you to depend and strengthen yourself, and it's almost like, I almost want to call it government type. What, you know what I mean? Like when you go, unfortunately, if you're going to God and you just pray to Him, it's almost like you're expecting that He will fix everything. But I had to learn in a hard way that, I went to elders in a church before. I was going through a very, very abusive marriage, and I went to the elders. I prayed, and at the time, I truly was, a believer, and I thought that God could change this person's heart. Like, yes, we're all and it doesn't. And no, this is the one true thing. We all have our free will and what we're open to do and what we're open to accept and how to empower ourselves, or for other things to empower us, I guess. But our will is going to make or break us, right? And I knew that, but I would also I would pray that it would, change his will to where he could, I would pray so hard, and I truly believed it. And it was like the more I prayed, the uglier person I was seeing. And then I got to thinking, it's like, what kind of a wonderful higher power that really truly cares about us and loves us so fully would allow this to keep going on and to not, and then when I'd go to the elders, it's like, oh, it's your marriage. It's sacred. You're supposed to, work on it no matter what. I'm like, this just isn't right. There's something really off and fishy about it. And so I just couldn't like handle it anymore. And I just, for a while, I was just kind of broken away from any spirituality, to be honest. And then of course, when you're going through any kind of trauma, trying to get away, it's like, it's almost always teased when you have, I guess, a big tragedy or any kind of a upheaval in your life. If you're gifted and if you're open to spirit, well, there's not going to be any other time you're more open than when you're going through something like that. And that's when I had I call it the spirit that liked to pull my hair, hang around. And I started using what I felt like which was my intuition, to find a good reader. And she was a tarot reader. And what was so ironic was I love the fact that she would cuss. She felt more real to me. She felt like somebody I could actually vibe with better. And secondly, she looked like I guess you're the classic Hollywood version of a psychic. I mean, like crystal ball, head wrap, and everything. I mean, she looked like what was the thing on the movie Big?
That changed.
Zoltar.
Yeah, Zoltar.
Was it Zoltar? Yeah. So she looked like the female version of the Zoltar. So it was. I'm like, oh, I'm going to this. This is going to be great.
Well, now you just described Miss Cleo. Hello, Bonnie. Tell me now. God.
Well, I mean,
Call
honestly,
me now for your free reading.
Well, she didn't talk like that, but she did. But I found out that like her first job and the first passion she had before she realized she was so gifted was that she was more of a theatrical type person. So when she'll do events and stuff, and like she has actually done the Zoltar. She actually, I think, has like stood in a little case that looked like Zoltar, and like for different, so like she would go to big companies because she's been around long enough that, she's not given $5 here and there. I mean, like, so you pay to have her come, and she would go to different events from huge companies in Dallas. And like, so she would dress the part of whatever their theme for their party was. And she just makes it fun. But when I sat in front of her, I mean, the things that she said without me even opening my mouth, like I was already floored. And she usually would only do an hour. She spent, I think it was like 3, almost 4 hours that night with me, because she goes, oh, honey, she said, yeah, she said, you're gifted, and you really, she just gave me that extra attention that I honestly needed so much at the time. And I was lucky that I trusted my intuition. That's another thing. We will have intuition, but we don't always listen to it. It's very important that we do, because I mean, I could have just as easily picked somebody that would have just like really kind of pushed me other way. Be like, oh gosh, that was just a waste of my time, of my money, yada yada. And if they're, this is another thing. If you're going online and you have different psychics or witchy type people that you like, these people that will feed off of this, they'll be the ones like, oh, I see a curse is on you, and I can help you with that curse. And then here's how much a person that's legit not going to go fishing, that's going fishing for some, you know what I mean? That's taking somebody that has issues and taking advantage. So you have to watch out for that. a lot of times when we have it to do ourselves, like I said, we can remove these curses or whatnot ourselves, to be quite honest.
So I'm gonna do a shameless plug here, real quick. Um, so
Okay.
if anyone listening now or in the future is interested in a tarot reading, be sure to email or contact Unexplained Possibilities at what is my email address? Unexplainedpossibilities at gmail.com, or you can message me on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, whatever. It's all Unexplained Possibilities, and that's if you'd like a tarot reading done by me. And there's at least 3 people in the chat right now who has had a reading from me, and they will hopefully vouch for me and not be a prick.
Mel is legit. He is good. I trained him. I like to pat myself on, but it was not easy getting him to be aware that he was able to do this. And he does so well, and I'm so proud of him.
So, okay, shameless plug
Yes,
over.
I think it's. Don't be shameless. You do good. I'm very proud of where you've gotten with it.
Yeah, well, thank you, and thank you for the push.
Well, it's not. I don't even have to, but I do because I've had you read for me, and you nailed it. I don't like always hearing it, but no. Well, I always kind of know how my reading's going to go. I but I for whatever reason I cannot read for myself. I put my own thoughts into my reading, and because I'm able to do so, it will come out just how I'm being, usually more in a negative light. So I see everything that, it is very, I trust the cards because every time I'm thinking negatively, there comes those negative cards. I'm like, well, there it is. Yeah. So I don't read for myself because I don't feel like it's a true, fair reading because I'm pushing energy on the cards that isn't there.
Yeah, for me, when will I get money? When will I get money? No answer. Okay,
I
so
hear you.
let's continue on. And you mentioned aspects of the devil. So,
Mm-hmm.
from this point of view, is there a devil? Like
Well,
a
yeah. Well, there's
single entity is what I mean.
not. I wouldn't say singular. I think there's just different aspects of that one being. But yeah, that's me.
Okay, now
That's how I feel.
I told you before we started the stream that I'm personally under the belief that there's no devil, but it's more of a title to me anyway. Where oh hey bomber, where you can you can be a devil. Basically, it's like you're being acknowledged that you're ruling. You have territory, you have power, you're a devil, but you're not the devil. And I don't think it is something entirely different from a demon. I think a demon just obtains a title of a devil, but or like you said, it's aspects, and sometimes it can combine into one thing.
Right. Right. And they'll. I mean, I guess a lot of people that, especially when it comes on the Christian side, a lot of them are just too afraid to really look into it and to, because if you're raised in a Christian type environment, you were told that if you look too much into these things, then the devil's going to take hold and he's going to confuse you and he's going to lie to you. Well, so then it's really terrifying for a person to actually try to educate themselves on, the what really lies beneath it all, right? So instead of this being this one horrible entity out to get us all and wants our souls and da 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 da, it's just different aspects. And they're not necessarily evil. It's the way I look at things. What would be considered evil is putting, when you do, oh, when you kill people that are can't protect themselves, or starvation. If you're supposed to meant to love and be there for all, then why would you let these people starve? Why would you, I'm just going to put that there because you can look at evil in different terms. A lot of people, you know, that are more on the occult side of things, they'll look at like, well, God actually has quite an evil presence about him too. If you don't listen to everything and believe everything he says, then he will destroy you. I mean, no doubt. Like you will fall in a fiery pit. That's I don't know. I like my kids piss me off, but I've never threatened to put them in a fiery pit.
Oh, you want to, though.
But let me tell you, though, I wouldn't. Well, guess what? Even our legal system considers that mean and evil and cruel, and they wouldn't allow it, right? So it's kind of bothers me. It's like it should be. I just found it finally at one point in my life. It was just like a red flag. It's like when you really start to look at things as they truly are, and you can't really, you can question it all day long, but you can't make up an excuse. Because I remember, and this would be as a kid, I would ask questions that would like have my dad cover my mouth in church and stuff because like, oh, does anybody, raise my hand? Don't, Sunday school, like if they could kick me out of it, they probably would have. Because I was going to ask about the things that just didn't make sense to me. Like, okay, well, why are people starving? Well, it's because they're parents. I'm like, so why should a child, though, that's innocent, right? Why should he starve just because of its parents? That's still, I don't care what the parents did. If the child's innocent and that God loves them, well, why? So I'd ask things like that. And it just, when you cannot get an actual answer that is feasible, I just like, okay, I get it. There is no answer, and you're just trying to excuse. It's like when people are trying to excuse pedophiles. There's no way. There's no way you can legitimately give them an excuse for it. I'm sorry.
Okay, so since we're kind of talking about good and evil and all that jazz, that you know of, is there an actual spiritual warfare happening? Angels versus demons and everything in between, and Earth is the battleground.
Spiritual. I think that human race is actually. I think we're more dangerous to each other as humans than anything spiritual could ever be. I've told you this before. I'm afraid of a human more than I am any demon or spirit ever. You know what I mean? Because the things that people do to people every day are so frightening, so disgusting, so vile that you can't put a blame of a demon or God on whatever. That person is just who they are, and that's just them showing who they are. That's just me, though. So no, I mean, is it because the demons and stuff are getting to the? No, I don't think that demons. I don't think that anything spiritual is overwhelming people or humanity to do this. I think that there are spirits there to help us, that are wanting to help us to pull ourselves out of this, and we just a lot of times people are ignoring it.
Now, why is it though that this seems to be a reoccurring thing? Why is it though that we always talk about, or we always see that there's supposed to be some type of fight for our souls, or this angels versus demons thing? Like,
Makes
why
a
is
good
that?
story. Makes a good story.
And would you
In my
say
opinion,
then? Would you say then it's just two energies that may oppose each other, but for the most part, they both need one another to create that weird balance?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a balance in everything. So yes, if you would have, if you don't have God, then you wouldn't have the negative considered, and this is only biblically, but considered horrible aspect, because so you have to have the balance there, and yeah, I mean, honestly, like these spirits, these entities are all there to help us actually level up and actually help us save ourselves. by leveling up, by becoming more aware of what's really going on underneath it all, to see through things like all these hidden, like if you want to go and say like the hidden aspects of, all the pedophilia going on, or open our eyes to things like the COVID, what's really going on. That's how we could be leveled up. We can use these beings to kind of get us on a more aware path, I guess you'd say. Strengthen our aspects of, if we have self-doubt, if we have a lot of problems with self-doubt, work with a demon that can help you with that. If you have, problems with saying no or letting people take advantage of you, same thing. Empower yourself in every way that you can to grow. And then, the more people that are doing that, the more aware this world's going to become. Unfortunately, there's just so many closed-minded people. It's not going to be something that will happen overnight or in a decade. I mean, it'd be nice if it did, but, it's just going to take a lot of people really making a commitment to empower themselves. And then once you start empowering yourself, it's going to come natural to want to help others.
Okay. And what if you just aren't in that way? You're just, like, why do I want to help them? I mean, yeah, good luck to you, buddy, but why am I going to go out of my way to help someone?
The more you evolve, the more I think it just kind of happens. I mean, like, especially when it comes to my cult friends and stuff, if there's something that that somebody else has more knowledge of, if you were to ask them, most of the time, they're going to, give you an idea of something that you can do. I've never really met anybody that was like, no, I'm not going to help you. I've never met you. It just kind of seems to go with the territory. For the most part, yes, there's going to be, like I would say, like there's going to be some people that are wanting acknowledgement and stuff, and they're going to kind of, there's those ones in every group that are going to, mess it up. But as long as you can kind of stay out of that, then you're good to go. And I try to, that's for me, I just try to stay out of drama, anyways, in any of the different groups that I'm in, because, it's there. It's in every group that I've ever noticed being in when it comes, especially social media. I have different, I like which and you think is weird, I'm sure, but the serial killer type groups and stuff like that, that people that, and it's not that we're into just serial killers. It's actually the mind of what makes a person do what they do.
Whatever helps you sleep at night. Yeah, sure.
No, it really truly is, because honestly,
you're probably one of those fangirls who wrote to Charles Manson too.
I've never wrote, but I do have a friend that was accused and actually put in prison for 18 years for something that he didn't do. And what, I can't really say too much, but it's a very well-known case. And I will say that this person's probably one of the kindest, he has so much compassion for people that is unbelievable. And to think that because of how this, their financial status and the music they listened to and the things that they were into were just considered guilty, like without any kind of DNA or forensics. So yeah, of course I pay attention to those cases, because it's like, number one, it tells us what's going on in the mind. If you're looking at an actual, like Bundy, okay, he was a horrible person. But then there's the people that really didn't do anything, and it makes you wonder, okay, well, how did these people get convicted, when you're supposed to leave room for doubt, right? If there's any doubt whatsoever, but when you have no DNA evidence, you have no facts or anything and the people weren't even there. it blows my mind how it can actually happen nowadays. And it does. It does. It still happens.
And sadly,
Yeah, a
unfortunately.
lot of people. And then of course, you have the person that's truly did it walking around free to go. And at the end of the day, the family, whether they realize it or not, they don't get the justice that they really deserve. So yeah. But even in those groups, you'll have people like bad mouthing each other and stuff because one person doesn't agree with the other, and it's just I guess a battle of wits, or or I don't know. It's honestly, it comes with, for me, the way I look at it, um we're all human. We're all capable of failure. We're all capable of messing up and being wrong. And then you get those that do not believe that they are, and those people can be very, very, they can mess up a whole group. They can really cause off balance.
You know
So
what?
I just steer clear.
I am going to take this because that will be a good segue to sometimes people you should stay clear from, or maybe not,
Ooh.
depending on how you look at it. Um, I'm sure you've seen your cases when it comes to the paranormal and the supernatural, and of people who claim to be psychic, claim to be a medium, a channeler. I mean, good Lord, it's enough people who say they channel aliens on YouTube where you're like, I don't know,
I've
but
seen some of those that are quite
you
interesting.
really, they have they're in need of a mental health evaluation. I'm not saying that to be funny. For once, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but there are mental issues, and how do you deal with that in this field?
Um, mm, well, I mean, unfortunately, it's not like, well, a person that's mentally ill, number one, they're not going to see their illness. A lot of, especially if they're not medicated. Um, Now, if you're asking along the lines of, I get somebody to call me and like they're just convinced that they have a demonic or some sort of a negative attack, and I don't feel it, I don't see it, there's just no true evidence of it. I have told them that, and that's when if you start questioning that, there's also what a good, I would say a good investigator would do would be ask them questions about their, personal life as much as you can without like getting them too upset, because there might be triggers, there might be traumas that have happened that trigger and make them have some kind of like a post-traumatic stress disorder that can like the mind is really a crazy, crazy thing that like even the best of the best don't have a full grasp of. And so they can be doing or seeing these things that are just not there because their mind is so broken and shattered, and they're wanting to not, okay, let's say that they've been gone through a molestation, or let's say that they've had something happen to them that they just have a hard time living with. And so if you create this monster, right, you don't have to pay attention, you don't have to focus, and you don't have to deal with the true underlying aspect of what's going on. And so you can make a whole new problem, right, and focus and put your energy on that. So I do, and I always try to be very, very careful, because you don't want to make a person that's already going through something mentally, that's you don't want to cause them to have another trigger. You don't want to cause to have them have an episode or whatnot. You don't want to make the matters worse, but you definitely need to tell them, have you, sought out any mental help? Sounds like, and I'll tell them, it sounds like you've had a lot of stressors and things that have happened that could be actually the underlying cause of this. And I'm not trying to be rude, because I said, and I'll tell them, I said, because honestly, that would be very frightening to have so much stress that it can make you believe these things are happening. So it's just as important as you get that your mind taken care of as you would if there was something spiritually happening. Um, and that happens a lot, honestly. I mean, there's a lot of people that aren't quite necessarily seeing something that they feel like they are or experiencing something. Of course, then there are those that let's say with myself, my sister and I, we both actually experienced this as children because we were told not to talk about the lady we saw in our bedroom. We were told not to talk about the different things that we would see or sense. And so when you bottle all that up and you don't talk about it, that's when you can go and have what people consider like poltergeist activity. So their own minds are actually creating a physical manifestation of something, and it's usually negative things that they're bottling back. Let's say that a person that is gifted or a child that has that has gifts, and they're really having to kind of, let's say, stifle them down and snuff them out. But let's say that they've gone through a trauma. Let's say they've lost a parent. Let's say that they've been, an aunt or an uncle has done something wrong to them. And they feel, because if you can't talk to things spiritually with your family, then you probably can't talk about those things either. So you're trying to stuff all this down mentally, especially children, teenage kids, things like that. Then you might have like loud crashing sounds or things moving in your home because you have this psychic kid trying to repress and hold down things that just they can't. And when they go to sleep at night or when they lay down and they rest, well, there goes their mind pushing out all this trauma, and it's making an actual manifestation. So there is that.
Well, fruitcake.
Just made it worse for you, huh? Made your head spin?
Well, no, it's not that, but it is something where it's, you have to think about.
It's your mind. I mean, really, if in all aspects, though, if you think about it, it is their mind at the end of the day. So that's why it's so important to get mental help when it comes to any kind of trauma. When my boys lost their dad, I was the first thing we went and did. I knew that, I could help them on a spiritual level as much as, anybody, but also that there was the mental aspect, the things that they didn't want to say, or maybe things that they were feeling guilty about that they didn't want to talk to me about. I understand that. Because, sometimes when you're a kid and you feel like it's wrong to feel the way you do, because Toby was really mad at his dad. And I'm sure he didn't want to tell me because, like it just sounds wrong to be mad at somebody that's passed away and, whatever. So, yeah, I made sure he had the help he needed. I had no shame in it. I would do it 100 times over.
Okay, good.
Now, I didn't want things flying around my house to be just playing. But, he is my child. So, there is a good chance that if he was not taking care of those things properly, that, we could have some. There was right before he actually was getting the help, like he was having nightmares. And I'm like, okay, we're time to go to a therapist, because I realized that these dreams were going to start pushing somewhere else. So, yeah.
So let's jump to a witchy topic, some magic.
Okay.
So I recently saw on Instagram another witch, and I believe she does hoodoo. She made a candle, a Johnson candle, like, a Mel Johnson candle.
Okay, I kind of thought that's what you were going. Okay.
And she had a little woman on there and hugging the testicle area, and it was to dominate a man. No, to dominate a man.
To have hold his. Okay, yeah, no, I get it.
Now, does that stuff actually
work?
Sorry,
did you hear my dog? I'm so sorry. If you heard a loud groan in the back, that was the dog. He's screaming.
Okay.
Oh my God, I did not burp. Jeez, that was loud. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay, but yeah, to dominate the man or have power over, well, maybe not power over him, but
Hmm.
you gonna have some power. Is that real? Is that legit?
Well, I mean, absolutely. It's I think about it. If I love it because, like, if she was had her hands down there, it was like she had his testicles in her hand. So, what is the saying? You need to get your balls back. You know what I mean? So think about it. She's got your balls. Well, that no. So it was a very magical. It was like, we can take. Sometimes it helps with a visual. So the candles represent the visual. It's us being able to see. Okay, I have him where I need to have him. Da 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 da. And I own him. I own these things. So therefore, he will not want anybody. He will be mine. Yeah. No, I get it. That makes a lot of sense. No, I won't. I've never done a love spell for myself ever. I actually usually try like for me personally, I try to steer clear because like a love spell, it can work. It can work. I'm not gonna say it can't. It can work, and reconciliation's a little bit different. But a love spell with somebody that you've never been with, you can make that person not like you at all. It can always. There has been times it can backfire, and I prefer to try to get it naturally. I don't want to have. I don't want to. I prefer anybody that I'm with. I prefer that comes naturally, and it's not something that has like I guess you say just like a spell over them. No,
Okay.
not for me. No,
Okay. So
I'm not disgracing other people for doing it. It's just not my way.
two things. I actually spoke to someone who tried a love spell, and it literally pushed the person away.
Yeah.
They did not connect. So that's funny you say that. The second thing, Angie is correcting me here, like the good producer she is, and she said that the little woman was sitting on the testicles and hugging everything else.
Okay, and it's still I have you by your balls type thing. It's still got that great imagery. It's quite an interesting. God, how did she even go about that candle? Sounds like a pretty interesting magician, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. And here's another thing. How do you, without giving too much of your trade secret, how do you go about doing a spell for someone?
Well, depending on the spell. But when it comes to like when I'm doing a spell, number one, I try to. A lot of times, everybody's going to be a little bit different. I might use like one like type of idea or framework for a spell, but if I feel like this person needs a certain color candle or a certain like if I need to put twine in on it, or if just depending on what it is, like I will use my intuition and what I feel like I'm guided to do, and usually that is the best way to go for me. I mean, it's usually very beneficial. I do like to, like, if I'm doing any kind of candle magic, I like to always inscribe my intent or what I'm wanting. Like, let's say that I'm wanting to draw my twin flame, or the person that is the person that I'm intended for. If I'm wanting to draw them, I'll take a pink candle, because pink to me, I don't want a red candle, because red can be more just more of a physical love, a physical attraction type thing, which I want that too. So you could always take the red and a pink, but a pink is more of a self-love. So they'll love the self instead of just the outside aspect of that person, or the lust part of that person. So you can take both candles and inscribe everything that you want that person to be. Like I've had, and I might have mentioned before, it's like, so when you're doing these things or you're making these intentions, write everything that you want and make sure you're very, very clear on what you want, because I've done that before and I received the person that was almost perfect in every way, but I forgot, not a country bumpkin. Because, don't laugh, because guess what? That's exactly what I got. And I'm like, motherfuck. this is everything but their twang, even though I have a Texas twang. It was hard for me to deal with somebody that said pillar instead of pillow.
Oh,
Or
wow.
winder.
That's bad.
Winder with an R at the end instead of window. Not my cup. No.
That's really
so
bad.
Yeah.
Hey, come over here,
That's
give me
what
that pillar. What the heck?
Yeah, you can't even hit the country in it. Can you hand me that pillar? Can you hand me that pillar over there?
Oh, wow.
Hold on, over yonder. Can you hand me the pillar over yonder? Yeah, I'm like, oh fuck, that's so gross. So yeah, I mean, they were basically everything that I was looking for, and then I'm like, well, oops. And it was really harsh because I felt like I was being very, very rude, but it was like, oh, yeah, we're just not gonna work. Well, how come? I'm like, Jesus, how do you even put it this way? Dude, you say pillar. Like, I can't get over it. It's like, all the things.
I have someone in chat. He's listening. Bomber. Hi, Bomber. He says, don't make fun
Bomber.
of us Southern folks.
Hey, I'm from Texas, but you know what I mean? It's like that. I don't know, man. It was so, yeah, if you say pillar bomber, you're going to have to work on it. It just is, I don't know. You might have a really, like, cute country gal that likes it, but I don't know. It just makes them sound like oh my goodness. I just can't see that person as being very, very, they just make it like, I'm sorry. I'm from the South too. And when you get that type of a twang, when that twang gets so deep in you, and I don't care how smart you are, it just seems to take down the intelligent level or notch on the intelligent graph there. It's like, man, oh, yeah. I don't know, it's not cute. Not for me.
Okay.
There are some that love it, but I just don't love that much of the twang.
So to anyone out there that wants to hit on Bonnie, don't have that type of twang. You can't. Hi, Bonnie.
Yeah. Can you go look out that window? No.
Bonnie, come look out the window with me.
Look at this.
Yeah. Okay.
You
so
see
don't
that alien out that window.
don't do that if you want to hit on Bonnie. Probably you might actually want to really think about hitting on Bonnie because if she doesn't like you, she might make one of those candles or something and chop your wiener off. You never know.
I wouldn't put it past me.
Oh gosh.
I'm just kidding.
You're not kidding. You're not. That was
probably no. No, I'm not.
Okay, so you know what? That's a good spot to end it.
Yeah. Wow, make people frightened of me. That's great.
So yeah, Bonnie's chopping off wiener, so that's a perfect spot to end it.
You need to add a little fucking slice sound right there.
I probably will. Don't think I won't. Okay, so Bonnie, you said that you're doing mentorship, and of course you're doing your tarot, Raven Moon Tarot. If someone wants you for your services or to learn under you... Oh God,
that just sounds so tacky. If you would like me for my services...
For your
call 1-800. No, just kidding. Go ahead.
Oh, hi, Sorsha. Oh, you know what?
Hey, Sorsha.
We're about to end it, but I have to say something real quick. So, Sorsha, I've unfortunately stumbled into some weird, I don't know, witch drama, magic stuff, and you don't know me from an apple on the sidewalk, but I have to say, you helped out someone or gave her words of encouragement that I've come across, and like she just spoke highly of you, and I'm going to say thank you for coming. I know you're here because of Bonnie, and thank you for showing up, and one day I'd like to get you on Unexplained if that's all right. So putting that out there, and yeah,
awesome. She'd be fun.
Yeah, you're a real stand-up person, so that's awesome, and I'm just throwing
and something else that she is very into that you kind of dipped into, I'm just going to push you here, is the Enochian. She knows her Enochian. I'll leave it there.
Okay. So perhaps in the future, if you're okay with that, we could set something up. But yeah, we are about to end it. And yeah, we're ending on Bonnie chopping off wieners.
God dang.
But before that, though, Bonnie, like, where can people find you if they want to learn under you, and or get you for some tarot reading or something like that?
You can always I guess I'll just go with my email right now, because that's honestly going to be the best, because I know it's hard to hit me on the messages on Facebook now, because I'm usually pretty capped out on friend requests and stuff. But it's Bonnie, I apologize. It's BON.Woodruff, WOODRUFF @gmail.com. Bon.woodruff@gmail.com.
Okay, and I will remember to put that link in the description. So,
Yay.
Is there anything else? I don't think so. I think we covered all. Oh, no alien talk today. I want to freak you out with some alien stuff, but that's all right.
Oh, great. Well, I'm so glad that no.
So, next time.
All right, next time.
Thank you guys for showing up. Really appreciate it, and tuning in, listening. I hope you guys enjoyed, maybe even learned a thing or two. If so, be sure to tell me. And don't forget to follow Unexplained Possibilities on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and Instagram. And those links will be found in the description below. And remember, guys, there are things that go bump in the night. Go ahead and tell them hi. Bye, everybody.